The Friday night lights of Oakwood High shimmered, reflecting in the hopeful eyes of every player on the field. But for Michael, a sophomore linebacker, the lights felt more like spotlights highlighting his biggest insecurity, his size. He wasn't small, not exactly, but compared to the towering figures around him, he felt like a peewee player lost in a pro stadium. Michael clutched his helmet, its weight a physical reminder of the pressure he felt. He loved football, loved the strategy, the camaraderie, the sheer thrill of the game. He dreamed of playing college ball, maybe even making it to the pros someday. But those dreams seemed distant, almost impossible, given his current situation. He wasn't a starter. He mostly warmed the bench, watching as the bigger, stronger guys got all the playing time. He knew the coaches saw potential. They always said he had heart and a good football IQ, but heart and IQ didn't make you 6'2" and 200 pounds. The game started, and Michael watched from the sidelines as Oakwood's star quarterback threw a beautiful spiral, leading to an early touchdown. The crowd roared, and Michael felt a surge of excitement, quickly followed by a familiar pang of disappointment. He wanted to be out there, contributing, making a difference. During a timeout, Coach Thompson clapped his hands. "All right, listen up. Defense needs to step it up. Show some aggression." Michael's heart leaped. Maybe, just maybe, he'd get a chance. But as the team returned to the field, Michael remained on the bench, the weight of his helmet feeling heavier than ever. He knew this feeling well. The feeling of being overlooked, underestimated, and ultimately, left behind. He was just another face in the crowd, a footnote in Oakwood High's football history. The sting of being benched was bad enough, but the laughter was worse. It usually started in the locker room after practice. A snicker here, a whispered comment there, always about his size. "Hey, Michael," Jake, the starting tight end, would say, a smirk playing on his lips. "Did they shrink the pads again? You look like you're swimming in M." Others would join in, their laughter echoing through the room. Michael would try to ignore them, focusing on tying his shoes or pretending to stretch, but their words always found their mark. It wasn't just his teammates. During games, the opposing team would chirp, too. "Hey, little guy, you lost," the other team's center yelled during one particularly tough game. "Go back to the kiddie pool." The taunts chipped away at Michael's confidence. He started doubting himself, wondering if he was truly good enough to play. He began to question his dream of playing college ball. Maybe they were right. Maybe he was too small. One afternoon, after a particularly brutal practice and a fresh round of taunts, Michael sat alone in the bleachers, staring out at the empty field. The setting sun cast long shadows, mirroring the darkness he felt inside. He thought about quitting. It would be easier, less painful. He wouldn't have to endure the constant ridicule. But the thought of giving up on his dream made his stomach churn. He couldn't imagine his life without football. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Michael made a decision. He wouldn't let their words define him. He would prove them wrong. He would show them that heart and determination could overcome size. He would train harder, push himself further, and become the best football player he could be, no matter what. The laughter would fuel him. It would be his motivation. He would make them eat their words. Junior year rolled around, and with it, the pressure of college recruitment. For many of Michael's teammates, the stands were filled with college scouts, clipboards in hand, evaluating their every move. Jake, the tight end, already had offers from several big schools. Even some of the other guys on the bench were getting looks. But for Michael, the stands remained empty. No interested eyes followed him during drills. No coaches scribbled notes when he made a good play. He was invisible. He tried not to let it bother him, focusing on his training and his performance on the field. He was stronger, faster, and more determined than ever. He was making tackles, reading plays, and contributing to the team's success. But it didn't matter. The scouts were looking for size, and Michael didn't fit the mold. One day, after a particularly impressive game where Michael had several key tackles, he overheard Coach Thompson talking to a scout from a nearby university. "Yeah, the team's looking good," Coach Thompson said. "We've got some real talent here. Jake's a lock for a scholarship, and Johnson's got potential." Michael lingered, hoping to hear his name mentioned. "What about that linebacker?" the scout asked, glancing in Michael's direction. "The one who's been making all the tackles?" Coach Thompson chuckled. "Michael? He's a good kid, works hard, but he's just too small. Colleges are looking for bigger guys these days." The scout nodded, his eyes scanning the field for other prospects. Michael's heart sank. Even his own coach didn't believe in him. He was good, but not good enough. His size was an insurmountable obstacle, a barrier he couldn't overcome. The dream of playing college ball seemed to slip further away with each passing day. The silence from the recruiters was deafening. The conversation with Coach Thompson echoed in Michael's mind for weeks. Too small. The words were like a brand, searing themselves into his consciousness. He knew he had a choice to make. He could accept his fate, give up on his dream, and fade into the background. Or he could fight. One rainy afternoon, Michael sat in his room, staring at a poster of his favorite NFL player, a linebacker known for his speed and agility, not his size. An idea sparked in his mind. He might not be able to magically grow taller, but he could become the fastest, strongest, and most skilled player on the field. He decided he wouldn't rely on anyone else to make his dream come true. No recruiters, no coaches, just him. He would take control of his destiny. He spent hours researching training techniques, nutrition plans, and workout routines. He devoured articles and watched videos, learning everything he could about maximizing his potential. He transformed his garage into a makeshift gym, scrounging up old weights and equipment. He made a schedule, a relentless, demanding schedule that pushed him to his limits. Early morning runs before school, weightlifting sessions after practice, and skill drills in the evenings. He sacrificed his social life, his free time, everything, for his dream. He knew it wouldn't be easy. He knew there would be setbacks and challenges. But he was determined to prove everyone wrong. He would show them that size didn't matter, that heart and dedication could overcome any obstacle. He would walk on to a college team, even if it meant starting at the very bottom. He would earn his spot. He would make them see him. His decision was made, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. The doubters had lit a fire in him, and he was ready to burn brighter than ever before. The alarm clock blared at 5 a.m., a sound that once filled Michael with dread. Now, it was a call to action. He leaped out of bed, laced up his running shoes, and headed out into the pre-dawn darkness. Rain or shine, Michael ran. He pushed himself harder each day, increasing his distance and speed. He visualized his goals with every stride, picturing himself making tackles, intercepting passes, and dominating the field. The early morning runs built his endurance and strengthened his resolve. After school, he headed straight to his garage gym. The weights were old and rusty, but they served their purpose. He lifted with a ferocity he never knew he possessed, fueled by the memory of the laughter and the sting of rejection. He focused on building strength and power, knowing he needed to be stronger than everyone else to compensate for his size. He worked tirelessly on his technique. He watched videos of professional linebackers, studying their footwork, their hand placement, and their tackling form. He practiced his drills relentlessly, honing his skills until they became second nature. Evenings were dedicated to film study. He analyzed game footage, identifying his weaknesses and finding ways to improve. He studied opposing offenses, learning their tendencies and anticipating their moves. His diet changed, too. He cut out junk food and started eating healthy, nutritious meals that fueled his body and mind. He understood that proper nutrition was just as important as physical training. Weekends were no different. While his friends were hanging out and having fun, Michael was training. He ran hills, practiced agility drills, and lifted weights. He never took a day off. The training was grueling, both physically and mentally. There were times when he wanted to quit, when he felt like he couldn't push himself any further. But he refused to give up. He reminded himself of his goal, of his dream, of the people who doubted him. And he kept going. The relentless training transformed him, not just physically, but mentally. He developed a level of discipline and mental toughness that he never thought possible. He was becoming the player he always knew he could be. Senior year arrived, and Michael was a different player. He was faster, stronger, and more confident. He had bulked up, adding muscle to his frame without sacrificing his agility. He was still smaller than most linebackers, but he played with a ferocity and intensity that made him a force to be reckoned with. During the first game of the season, Michael made an immediate impact. He burst through the offensive line, sacking the quarterback on the very first play. The crowd erupted, surprised by his sudden dominance. He continued to make plays throughout the game, racking up tackles and disrupting the opposing team's offense. He was a whirlwind on the field, a relentless attacker who never gave up. However, old habits die hard. Despite his improved performance, the taunts continued. "Still short, huh?" Jake yelled from the sidelines. The opposing team tried to intimidate him, calling him names and trying to get under his skin. But Michael didn't let it bother him. He had learned to tune out the noise and focus on the game. He knew that his performance spoke louder than words. He had several standout plays throughout the season. One game, he intercepted a pass and returned it for a touchdown, silencing the critics and sending the crowd into a frenzy. Another game, he made a game-saving tackle on the goal line, preserving the team's victory. Despite his impressive performance, the college recruiters remained elusive. They still focused on the bigger, more physically imposing players. Michael was making a difference, but it wasn't enough to overcome their prejudice. He knew he was playing the best football of his life, but he also knew that it might not be enough. He was running out of time. This was his last chance to impress the scouts and earn a scholarship. But the silence was deafening, and the future remained uncertain. He was caught in a frustrating limbo, proving his worth on the field but still being overlooked because of his size. The dream was still alive, but barely. Graduation day arrived, bittersweet for Michael. He was proud of his accomplishments, but the looming question of his future weighed heavily on his mind. Jake and several other teammates were celebrating scholarship offers, their futures seemingly mapped out. Michael, however, had no such certainty. He had applied to several colleges with decent football programs, schools that weren't top tier but offered a chance to prove himself. He knew he wouldn't get a scholarship, but he hoped to walk on to the team. After weeks of waiting, acceptance letters started arriving. Michael got into his top choice, a state university known for its strong academics and respectable football team, the Eagles. He was thrilled to be accepted, but the real challenge was just beginning. He spent the summer training even harder, preparing for the grueling tryouts that awaited him. He knew he would be facing stiff competition from other walk-on hopefuls, many of whom were bigger and more experienced than him. He researched the Eagles' football program, studying their playbook and familiarizing himself with their coaching staff. He wanted to be as prepared as possible. As the summer drew to a close, Michael packed his bags and headed off to college. He was nervous, but also excited. This was his chance to prove everyone wrong, to show that he belonged on the field, regardless of his size. He knew it wouldn't be easy. He would have to work harder than everyone else, and he would have to be willing to endure setbacks and challenges. But he was determined to make his dream a reality. He arrived at the university with a mix of trepidation and excitement. The campus was bustling with students, all eager to start their college journey. Michael felt a sense of belonging, a feeling that he was finally on the right path. He knew the odds were stacked against him, but he refused to give up. He had come too far, sacrificed too much, to turn back now. He was ready to face the challenge, to embrace the grind, and to prove that he had what it takes to be an Eagle. His walk-on dream was within reach. The day of the walk-on tryouts arrived, and Michael felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach. He stood on the practice field, surrounded by dozens of other hopefuls, all vying for a limited number of spots on the team. Many were bigger and more intimidating than him, former high school stars who had been overlooked by major programs. The coaches barked instructions, putting the players through a series of drills designed to test their speed, strength, and agility. Michael pushed himself to the limit, determined to impress the coaches with his effort and determination. He ran sprints, lifted weights, and performed tackling drills, giving it his all on every rep. He knew he had to stand out, to show the coaches that he was willing to work harder than anyone else. During the tackling drills, Michael went up against a much larger player, a towering offensive lineman who seemed to dwarf him. Michael didn't back down. He used his speed and technique to get low and drive through the lineman, bringing him to the ground with a resounding thud. The coaches took notice. They were impressed by Michael's tenacity and his willingness to take on a bigger opponent. But they were also evaluating dozens of other players, and the competition was fierce. As the tryouts progressed, Michael began to tire. His muscles ached, and his lungs burned. But he refused to quit. He reminded himself of his goal, of his dream, of all the people who had doubted him. At the end of the tryouts, the coaches gathered the players together. They announced the names of the players who had made the team. Michael held his breath, hoping to hear his name called. But as the list went on, Michael's name was nowhere to be found. The coaches thanked the players for their effort and dismissed them. Michael's heart sank. He had given it his all, but it wasn't enough. He had failed to make the team. The walk-on dream had been crushed. The disappointment was overwhelming. He felt like all his hard work and sacrifice had been for nothing. The initial sting of rejection was intense, a wave of disappointment washing over Michael. He walked back to his dorm room, the weight of failure heavy on his shoulders. He considered giving up, wondering if he was chasing a foolish dream. Maybe everyone was right. Maybe he just wasn't good enough. He spent the next few days in a funk, skipping classes and avoiding his friends. He replayed the tryouts in his mind, analyzing every mistake he made, every missed opportunity. One evening, while flipping through channels on TV, he stumbled upon a documentary about an underdog athlete who had overcome incredible odds to achieve success. The athlete's story resonated with Michael, reminding him of his own struggles and his own determination. He realized that giving up was not an option. He had come too far, sacrificed too much, to let one setback derail his dream. He would use this failure as motivation, as fuel to push himself even harder. He went back to his training routine, even more determined than before. He analyzed his weaknesses, identifying areas where he could improve. He worked on his speed, his strength, and his technique. He pushed himself to the limit, day after day, week after week. He also reached out to the coaches, asking for feedback on his performance. He wanted to know what he could do to improve his chances of making the team next year. The coaches were impressed by his initiative and his willingness to learn. They gave him some specific advice, suggesting that he focus on improving his explosiveness and his tackling technique. Michael took their advice to heart, incorporating it into his training routine. He spent hours practicing his tackling form, perfecting his technique until it became second nature. He also worked on his explosiveness, using plyometric exercises to increase his power and speed. He knew it would be an uphill battle, but he was determined to prove everyone wrong. He would come back next year stronger, faster, and more determined than ever. He would not let this setback define him. He would use it to fuel his fire and achieve his dream. His unwavering determination would carry him through. The following year, Michael returned to the tryouts a changed player. He had added more muscle, his movements were quicker and more explosive, and his technique was flawless. He walked onto the field with a quiet confidence, knowing that he had done everything in his power to prepare himself. The coaches immediately noticed the difference. They were impressed by Michael's transformation and his unwavering dedication. They put him through a series of rigorous drills, testing his speed, strength, and agility. Michael aced every test, exceeding their expectations. During the tackling drills, he was a force to be reckoned with. He exploded off the line, delivering bone-jarring hits that sent his opponents sprawling. The coaches exchanged impressed glances, realizing that Michael was a completely different player from the year before. He went up against the same offensive lineman who had dominated him the previous year. This time, Michael was ready. He used his improved technique and explosiveness to drive through the lineman, sending him crashing to the ground. The coaches erupted in applause. As the tryouts drew to a close, Michael felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. He had given it his all, and he knew that he had proven himself. The coaches gathered the players together and announced the names of the players who had made the team. This time, when they called out the linebackers, Michael heard his name. Michael Evans. A wave of emotion washed over him. He had done it. He had overcome the odds and achieved his dream. He had proven everyone wrong. A grin spread across his face as he walked forward to join the team. He knew that the hard work was just beginning, but he was ready for the challenge. He was an eagle, and he was determined to make the most of his opportunity. He had finally earned his spot on the team through sheer grit and determination. The long hours of training and sacrifice had finally paid off. He was one step closer to his ultimate goal. Being on the team was a dream come true, but Michael quickly realized that the hard work was far from over. As a walk-on, he had to prove himself every single day. He wasn't guaranteed playing time, and he had to earn everything he got. He started at the bottom of the depth chart, working with the scout team, mimicking the opposing team's offense to help the starters prepare for games. It was a thankless job, but Michael embraced it. He knew that every rep, every practice, was an opportunity to improve and to show the coaches what he was capable of. He was often assigned extra duties, like cleaning the locker room or carrying equipment. He never complained. He knew that these were the sacrifices he had to make to be part of the team. The scholarship players, some of whom had doubted him before, started to respect his work ethic and his dedication. They saw how hard he worked, how much he cared, and how much he wanted to succeed. The practices were brutal. The coaches pushed the players to their limits, demanding perfection on every play. Michael relished the challenge. He thrived under pressure, using his speed and agility to make plays that the bigger players couldn't. He excelled on special teams, using his quickness to make tackles and disrupt the return game. He became a valuable asset to the team, a reliable player who could always be counted on to give his all. His playing time was limited, but he made the most of every opportunity. He knew that he had to be perfect every time he stepped on the field. He had to make every tackle, block every kick, and cover every receiver. He studied the playbook relentlessly, memorizing every play and every assignment. He wanted to be prepared for any situation. He knew that he was an underdog, that he had to work harder than everyone else to earn his place on the team. But he was determined to prove himself, to show the coaches that they had made the right decision by giving him a chance. He would continue to grind, to push himself, and to strive for excellence, no matter what. The journey had just begun. The weeks turned into months, and Michael continued to excel on special teams. He was a tackling machine, consistently making plays that energized the team and the crowd. He was known for his fearless approach and his ability to disrupt the opponent's return game. One afternoon, during a particularly intense practice, the starting linebacker went down with an injury. The coaches looked around, searching for a replacement. Their eyes landed on Michael Evans. Coach Thompson yelled, "Get in there!" Michael's heart leaped. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. He ran onto the field, determined to make the most of his chance. The game was against a tough opponent, a team known for its strong running game. Michael knew that he had to be ready to stop the run. On the first play, the opposing team ran right at him. Michael exploded off the line, meeting the running back head-on. He delivered a crushing blow, stopping the running back in his tracks. The crowd roared. The coaches on the sideline exchanged impressed glances. Michael had made an immediate impact. He continued to make plays throughout the game, disrupting the running game and putting pressure on the quarterback. He was a whirlwind on the field, a relentless force that the opposing team couldn't contain. In the fourth quarter, with the game on the line, Michael made a game-saving interception. He read the quarterback's eyes, jumped in front of the receiver, and snagged the ball out of the air. The crowd went wild. Michael's teammates mobbed him, celebrating his incredible play. The Eagles won the game, thanks in large part to Michael's outstanding performance. After the game, Coach Thompson praised Michael's effort. "Evans," he said, "you played a heck of a game. You earned yourself some more playing time." Michael's dream was coming true. He had started as a walk-on, but now he was a key contributor to the team. He had proven that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. He was finally getting the recognition he deserved. The journey was far from over, but he had taken a major step towards achieving his ultimate goal. From that game forward, Michael's role on the team expanded. He became a regular starter at linebacker, showcasing his speed, agility, and tackling ability. He was no longer just a special teams player, he was a key cog in the Eagles' defense. His success didn't come without its challenges. He faced constant pressure to perform, knowing that he had to prove himself every single game. The scholarship players, some of whom had resented him at first, now respected him as a teammate and a competitor. He continued to work harder than everyone else, spending extra hours in the film room and on the practice field. He wanted to be the best player he could be, and he wasn't going to let anything stand in his way. The taunts from opposing teams continued, but Michael had learned to tune them out. He knew that his performance on the field spoke louder than words. He started receiving attention from college scouts, who were impressed by his transformation and his unwavering determination. They saw that he was a special player, one who had overcome incredible odds to achieve success. As his junior year progressed, Michael's name began to appear on draft boards. He was being projected as a potential NFL player, a dream that had once seemed impossible. He remained focused on the present, determined to help his team win a championship. He knew that if he continued to work hard and perform well, the rest would take care of itself. The Eagles had a successful season, making it to the playoffs. Michael played a key role in their success, leading the team in tackles and making several game-changing plays. They ultimately fell short of winning the championship, but Michael's performance had solidified his status as one of the top linebackers in the country. He was now a legitimate NFL prospect, a testament to his hard work, dedication, and unwavering belief in himself. He had gone from being a laughed-at high school player to a rising star in college football, a journey that had inspired many. The dream was closer than ever. Senior year arrived with a whirlwind of anticipation and pressure. Michael knew this was his last chance to prove himself to NFL scouts and secure his place in the draft. He worked even harder, pushing his body and mind to their limits. The season started strong, with the Eagles winning their first several games. Michael was a dominant force on defense, consistently making tackles, disrupting plays, and leading the team with his passion and intensity. However, an unexpected obstacle arose. During a mid-season game, Michael suffered an ankle injury. He tried to play through the pain, but it was too severe. He had to be helped off the field. The diagnosis was a high ankle sprain, an injury that could sideline him for several weeks. Michael was devastated. He had worked so hard to get to this point, and now his dream was in jeopardy. He spent countless hours in the training room, undergoing physical therapy and doing everything he could to speed up his recovery. He refused to let the injury define him. His teammates rallied around him, offering support and encouragement. They knew how much this meant to him, and they wanted to see him succeed. After several weeks of intense rehabilitation, Michael was cleared to return to play. He was still feeling some pain, but he was determined to be on the field with his teammates. He made his return during a crucial game against a tough opponent. The Eagles were struggling, and they needed a spark. Michael entered the game with a brace on his ankle and a fire in his eyes. He made an immediate impact, delivering a bone-jarring hit on the opposing quarterback. The crowd erupted, energized by his return. Michael continued to make plays throughout the game, leading the Eagles to a come-from-behind victory. He had proven that he could overcome adversity, that he could battle through pain and injury to achieve his goals. He was a true warrior, a testament to the power of determination and perseverance. The injury had tested him, but it had also made him stronger. He was now ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The NFL dream was still within reach. The final game of the regular season arrived, with the Eagles needing a win to secure a spot in the playoffs. The stakes were high, and the atmosphere was electric. Michael was still feeling some pain in his ankle, but he was determined to play his best. He knew that this was his last chance to impress the NFL scouts and solidify his draft stock. The game was a hard-fought battle, with both teams trading blows. The Eagles' offense struggled to move the ball, and the defense was under constant pressure. In the fourth quarter, with the Eagles trailing by a touchdown, Michael made a crucial play. He intercepted a pass and returned it for a touchdown, tying the game. The crowd erupted, chanting Michael's name. His teammates mobbed him, celebrating his incredible play. The game went into overtime. The Eagles had the ball first, but they were unable to score. The opposing team then drove down the field, setting up for a game-winning field goal. The pressure was on. Michael knew that he had to make a play. As the kicker lined up for the field goal, Michael timed his jump perfectly and leaped into the air, blocking the kick. The crowd went wild. The Eagles had survived. On their next possession, the Eagles drove down the field and kicked a field goal, winning the game and securing their spot in the playoffs. Michael was the hero of the game. He had made two incredible plays, proving that he was a special player, one who could rise to the occasion when it mattered most. After the game, the NFL scouts swarmed around him, eager to talk to him. They had seen enough. They knew that Michael Evans was the real deal. He had overcome adversity, battled through injury, and proven that he had what it takes to succeed at the highest level. His dream was about to come true. The NFL was calling. His hard work and dedication had finally paid off. He was ready for the next chapter of his journey. He had become more than just a football player, he was an inspiration. The weeks leading up to the NFL draft were a whirlwind of interviews, workouts, and evaluations. Michael traveled across the country, meeting with coaches and general managers, showcasing his skills and personality. He was still considered an underdog, but his performance in college and his unwavering determination had impressed many. Some scouts still questioned his size, but others saw his heart, his work ethic, and his ability to make plays. He shared his story with the teams, talking about the challenges he had faced and the obstacles he had overcome. He wanted them to know that he was more than just a football player, he was a fighter, a survivor, and an inspiration. He trained harder than ever, preparing for the physical and mental challenges of the NFL. He knew that he had to be in the best shape of his life to compete at the highest level. He received support from his family, his friends, and his former teammates. They believed in him, and they knew that he had what it takes to succeed. As the draft approached, Michael tried to remain calm and focused. He knew that he couldn't control what happened, but he could control his attitude and his effort. He gathered with his family and friends on draft day, anxiously awaiting the call that would change his life forever. He had come so far, and he was finally on the verge of achieving his dream. The first round passed, and Michael's name wasn't called. He started to feel a sense of disappointment, but he refused to give up hope. The second round passed, and still no call. He began to wonder if he would even be drafted. Then, in the third round, his phone rang. It was the general manager of the Chicago Bears. "Michael," the general manager said, "we're drafting you. We believe in you, and we know you're going to be a great player for us." Michael's heart leaped. He had done it. He was going to the NFL. His dream had come true. He was overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had all been worth it. He was ready to take on the challenge and prove himself at the highest level. He had become an NFL player. The boy who was once laughed at was now living his dream. Michael arrived in Chicago with a chip on his shoulder, eager to prove that he belonged in the NFL. He was determined to show the Bears that they had made the right decision by drafting him. He entered training camp with a relentless work ethic, pushing himself to the limit every single day. He studied the playbook, learned the schemes, and worked on his technique. He faced stiff competition from other linebackers, many of whom were bigger and more experienced than him. But Michael didn't back down. He used his speed, agility, and intelligence to make plays and impress the coaches. He quickly earned the respect of his teammates, who admired his dedication and his positive attitude. They saw that he was a hard worker, a team player, and a natural leader. He made the team out of training camp, exceeding all expectations. He was assigned to special teams, but he knew that he would eventually get his chance to play linebacker. He excelled on special teams, using his quickness and tackling ability to make an impact. He became a valuable asset to the team, a reliable player who could always be counted on to give his all. Midway through the season, an injury to a starting linebacker opened up an opportunity for Michael. He was inserted into the starting lineup, and he didn't disappoint. He made an immediate impact, delivering bone-jarring hits and disrupting the opposing team's offense. He was a force to be reckoned with, a relentless attacker who never gave up. He quickly became a fan favorite, known for his hard-hitting style and his infectious enthusiasm. The Chicago fans embraced him, recognizing his passion for the game and his dedication to the team. He proved that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. He had gone from being a laughed-at high school player to a rising star in the NFL. His journey had inspired many, and he was just getting started. He was ready to take his game to the next level and become one of the best linebackers in the league. The NFL was his stage, and he was ready to shine. He would continue to work hard, to push himself, and to strive for excellence, no matter what. His story was a testament to the power of belief and the importance of never giving up on your dreams. Michael's first season in the NFL was a success. He started every game at linebacker, leading the Bears in tackles and earning a reputation as one of the toughest and most reliable players on the team. He received numerous accolades, including being named to the NFL All-Rookie team. He had proven that he belonged in the league, that he could compete with the best players in the world. But Michael wasn't satisfied. He knew that he had the potential to be even better. He spent the off-season working on his game, honing his skills, and pushing himself to the limit. He returned for his second season even stronger and more determined. He continued to dominate on defense, making tackles, intercepting passes, and disrupting the opposing team's offense. He quickly became one of the most respected linebackers in the league, earning praise from coaches, teammates, and analysts. He was known for his intelligence, his instincts, and his unwavering commitment to excellence. He was selected to the Pro Bowl, a testament to his outstanding performance. He had reached the pinnacle of his profession, achieving a level of success that he had once only dreamed of. But Michael never forgot where he came from. He remembered the taunts, the doubts, and the obstacles he had overcome. He used those memories as motivation, fueling his fire and driving him to be the best player he could be. He became an inspiration to others, proving that anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and belief in yourself. He showed that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. He used his platform to give back to the community, mentoring young athletes and encouraging them to pursue their dreams. He wanted to show them that they could achieve anything they set their minds to, regardless of their circumstances. Michael's story was a reminder that success is not measured by size or talent, but by character, resilience, and the willingness to never give up. He was a true champion, both on and off the field. He had transformed from an overlooked and ridiculed high school player into an NFL superstar, a journey that had inspired millions. His legacy was just beginning. Years passed, and Michael continued to excel in the NFL. He became a perennial Pro Bowler, a multiple-time All-Pro, and a Super Bowl champion. He was recognized as one of the greatest linebackers of all time. But his greatest accomplishment was not his on-field success, but the impact he had on others. He inspired millions with his story, proving that anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and belief in yourself. He became a role model for young athletes, showing them that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. He encouraged them to never give up on their dreams, no matter how difficult they may seem. He gave back to the community, supporting various charities and organizations that helped underprivileged youth. He wanted to make a difference in the world, to leave it a better place than he found it. He never forgot where he came from, the taunts, the doubts, and the obstacles he had overcome. He used those memories as motivation, fueling his fire and driving him to be the best person he could be. He returned to his high school, Oakwood High, and spoke to the football team, sharing his story and inspiring them to believe in themselves. He wanted them to know that they could achieve anything they set their minds to, regardless of their circumstances. He saw Jake, the tight end who had once ridiculed him, and extended his hand in friendship. He had forgiven him, realizing that everyone makes mistakes. Michael's story became a legend, a testament to the power of the human spirit. He had transformed from a laughed-at high school player into an NFL icon, a journey that had inspired countless people. He retired from the NFL at the peak of his career, wanting to spend more time with his family and pursue other passions. He left the game with his head held high, knowing that he had made a difference. His legacy lived on, inspiring future generations of athletes to chase their dreams and never give up on themselves. He was a true champion, both on and off the field, a shining example of what is possible with hard work, dedication, and an unwavering belief in yourself. The end. The news of Michael's drafting spread quickly, reaching Oakwood High School. Coach Thompson, who had once doubted Michael, felt a pang of regret. He realized that he had underestimated Michael's heart and determination. Jake, the former tight end who had taunted Michael, reached out to congratulate him. He had matured since high school and had come to appreciate Michael's perseverance. He even admitted that he had been wrong about him. The local newspaper ran a story about Michael's journey, highlighting his transformation from a laughed-at high school player to an NFL draftee. The story inspired many in the community, proving that anything is possible with hard work and dedication. Michael's success also caught the attention of college recruiters. They started paying more attention to smaller, less heralded players, realizing that size wasn't everything. The university that had overlooked Michael invited him back to speak to the football team. He shared his story, encouraging the players to believe in themselves and to never give up on their dreams. He also established a scholarship fund for underprivileged students, giving them the opportunity to pursue their education. He wanted to help others achieve their goals, just as he had been helped along the way. Michael's story became a symbol of hope and inspiration, proving that anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and an unwavering belief in yourself. He had transformed from an underdog to a champion, a journey that had touched countless lives. He continued to give back to the community throughout his NFL career, mentoring young athletes and supporting various charities. He wanted to use his platform to make a difference in the world, to leave it a better place than he found it. His legacy extended far beyond the football field, inspiring others to overcome adversity and achieve their dreams. He had proven that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could conquer all. Michael's story was a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that anything is possible if you believe in yourself. The laughter had faded, replaced by cheers of admiration and respect. He had silenced the doubters and had written his own story, a story of triumph and inspiration. He had truly become a legend. Draft day was a blur of nervous energy and anticipation. Michael sat in his living room, surrounded by his family and closest friends, watching the television coverage of the NFL draft. Each pick felt like an eternity, a roller coaster of hope and doubt. He tried to remain calm, reminding himself that he had done everything in his power to prepare for this moment. He had showcased his skills, shared his story, and proven that he belonged in the NFL. But the doubts still lingered. What if he wasn't drafted? What if his size was still a concern for some teams? What if he had peaked too soon? He watched as the first round passed, then the second. He saw other linebackers being selected, players who he felt he was better than. The anxiety grew with each passing pick. His family tried to reassure him, telling him that his time would come. But Michael couldn't shake the feeling that he was being overlooked, that his dream was slipping away. He got up and walked around the room, trying to burn off some of the nervous energy. He looked at the faces of his family and friends, people who had supported him every step of the way. He didn't want to disappoint them. Then, his phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. It was a number he didn't recognize. He hesitated for a moment, then answered the call. "Hello. Michael, this is the Chicago Bears. We're on the clock, and we're considering drafting you. Do you want to be a Bear?" Michael's heart leaped. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had dreamed of this moment for so long, and it was finally happening. "Yes," he exclaimed. "I would love to be a Bear." The general manager chuckled. "Great. We'll see you in Chicago." Michael hung up the phone and turned to his family and friends. "I'm going to the Bears," he shouted. The room erupted in cheers and applause. Michael had done it. He had overcome the odds and achieved his dream. He was going to the NFL. He had proven everyone wrong. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had all been worth it. He was ready for the next chapter of his life, the challenges and the triumphs that awaited him in the NFL. He had finally made it. The phone call from the Bears set off a chain reaction. Within minutes, Michael's social media was flooded with messages of congratulations. News outlets, both local and national, began highlighting his story. Headlines like "Underdog Story, Michael Evans drafted to NFL," and "From laughingstock to linebacker, Evans overcomes the odds," appeared on websites and newspapers. The articles focused on his perseverance, his dedication, and his unwavering belief in himself. They told the story of the smaller-than-average high school player who was ridiculed for his size, ignored by college recruiters, and rejected after walk-on tryouts. They highlighted his relentless training, his unwavering determination, and his refusal to give up on his dream. The stories resonated with readers, inspiring them to pursue their own goals, no matter how difficult they may seem. Michael became a symbol of hope, proving that anything is possible with hard work and dedication. He was interviewed on ESPN, sharing his story with a national audience. He talked about the challenges he had faced and the obstacles he had overcome. He emphasized the importance of believing in yourself, of never giving up on your dreams, and of always striving for excellence. He received letters and emails from people all over the world, thanking him for inspiring them. They shared their own stories of adversity and told him how his journey had given them the courage to pursue their passions. Michael's story became a viral sensation, spreading like wildfire across the internet. He was featured on talk shows, in magazines, and in documentaries. He was a media darling, a symbol of hope and inspiration in a world that often seemed filled with negativity and despair. He used his newfound platform to promote positive messages, encouraging others to overcome adversity and achieve their goals. He wanted to make a difference in the world, to leave it a better place than he found it. He knew that his story was not just about football, it was about the power of the human spirit, the importance of never giving up, and the transformative power of believing in yourself. He had become more than just an athlete, he was a role model, an inspiration, and a champion of hope. His journey was a testament to the fact that anything is possible if you set your mind to it and never give up on your dreams. The world was now listening. The next few years were a whirlwind of practices, games, and travel. Michael embraced the challenges of the NFL, working harder than ever to improve his skills and contribute to the team's success. Scene, a montage of quick shots showcasing Michael's NFL career. Michael, in his Bears uniform, sprinting onto the field to a roaring crowd. Michael studying film with his coaches, intensely focused on the game plan. Michael leading his team in pre-game stretches, a picture of determination. Michael making a bone-jarring tackle, stopping the opposing running back in his tracks. Michael intercepting a pass and returning it for a touchdown, electrifying the crowd. Michael celebrating with his teammates after a big win, a wide grin on his face. Michael signing autographs for young fans, inspiring them to pursue their dreams. Michael visiting a local hospital, bringing smiles to the faces of sick children. Michael receiving the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award, a testament to his hard work and dedication. Michael hoisting the Super Bowl trophy, confetti raining down around him, a look of pure joy on his face. Throughout his career, Michael remained grounded and humble, never forgetting where he came from. He treated everyone with respect, from the coaches and teammates to the fans and the janitors. He was known for his positive attitude, his unwavering work ethic, and his commitment to excellence. He was a true leader, both on and off the field. He continued to give back to the community, supporting various charities and organizations that helped underprivileged youth. He wanted to use his platform to make a difference in the world, to leave it a better place than he found it. He inspired millions with his story, proving that anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and belief in yourself. He showed that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. Michael's success in the NFL was a testament to his character, his resilience, and his unwavering belief in his dream. He had transformed from an overlooked and ridiculed high school player into an NFL superstar, a journey that had touched countless lives. He was a true champion, both on and off the field, a shining example of what is possible with hard work, dedication, and an unwavering belief in yourself. He had become a legend, and his story would continue to inspire for generations to come. The montage ends. Years after achieving his Super Bowl dream, Michael felt a pull to return to his roots. He wanted to share his journey with the young athletes at Oakwood High, the same halls where he had faced ridicule and doubt. He contacted the school's athletic director and offered to speak to the football team. The offer was met with enthusiasm. The current players knew Michael's story, and they were eager to hear from their hometown hero. The day of his visit, Michael felt a mix of emotions, pride, gratitude, and a touch of nervousness. He walked into the gymnasium, greeted by a sea of young faces, all looking up at him with admiration. He began his speech, sharing his story with honesty and vulnerability. He talked about the taunts, the rejections, and the moments when he almost gave up. He emphasized the importance of hard work, dedication, and never giving up on your dreams. He told them that size didn't matter, that heart and determination could overcome any obstacle. He encouraged them to believe in themselves, even when others doubted them. He shared specific advice, talking about the importance of training, studying the playbook, and developing a positive attitude. He urged them to be good teammates, to support each other, and to always strive for excellence. After his speech, he opened the floor to questions. The players peppered him with questions about his training routine, his diet, and his experiences in the NFL. He answered their questions with patience and candor, sharing his insights and wisdom. He wanted to give them the tools they needed to succeed, both on and off the field. He spent the afternoon working with the players on the practice field, sharing drills and techniques. He showed them how to use their speed and agility to overcome bigger opponents. He left Oakwood High that day feeling a sense of fulfillment. He had given back to the community that had shaped him, and he had inspired a new generation of athletes to pursue their dreams. He knew that his legacy would live on, not just in the record books, but in the hearts and minds of the young people he had touched. He had come full circle, returning to the place where his journey began, now a champion and an inspiration. The impact was undeniable. He had changed lives. Michael's impact extended far beyond his playing days. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, his bust standing alongside the legends of the game. But even that honor paled in comparison to the impact he had on the lives of others. Years after his retirement, Michael's story continued to be told, inspiring new generations of athletes to pursue their dreams. He became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of the human spirit. He was remembered not for his size, but for his heart. He was remembered not for his talent, but for his work ethic. He was remembered not for his accolades, but for his character. He had proven that success is not measured by what you have, but by what you give. He had shown that true greatness lies not in talent, but in character, resilience, and the willingness to never give up on your dreams. His legacy lived on in the countless lives he had touched, in the young athletes he had inspired, and in the communities he had served. He had left the world a better place than he found it. And so, the story of Michael Evans, the laughed-at high school player who became an NFL legend, became a timeless tale of triumph over adversity. It was a story that would be told for generations to come, a reminder that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams. He was a true champion, both on and off the field, a shining example of what is possible with hard work, dedication, and an unwavering belief in yourself. He had become more than just a football player, he was a legend, an inspiration, and a symbol of hope. His story was a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that anything is possible if you set your mind to it and never give up on your dreams. He was Michael Evans, and he had left his mark on the world. He was a legend. The end.